Hello everyone, my name is Zeotrex, and today we're talking about Transformers 1, starring Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry. This animated film tells the story of Orion Pax in D16, the two minor bots who can't transform. They uncover a sinister secret about their planet Cybertron, and the two of them grow further apart. So I love Transformers, alright? Um, I don't know how vocal I've been about it on the channel, I've probably talked about it a lot, but I love Transformers. I never got to finish that Dark of the Moon review. That I was planning to do. I was planning to get the reviews out before Rise of the Beast, which um, I'll get back to them one day. I promise. Either way, cinematically, Transformers has always fucking sucked, except for the '86 movie is perfect, and while that first Bayverse movie is decent enough, it took a massive fucking nosedive after that, for the next like 10 years. Revenge of the Fallen was shit. I didn't like Dark of the Moon. Age of Extinction was fucking garbage. La Last Night was boring, pathetic shit. Now, Bumblebee, on the other hand, did bring back the series. I thought Rise of the Beast was a better movie than anything that's before Bumblebee. It was a disappointing step down. Now, on the other hand, this movie is fucking perfect. Where do I begin? So, this is the best Transformers movie ever. It gives the '86 film a run for its money, and it's like actually genuinely fighting for that movie as part of my top spot. It's so perfect. I have so much to say about this absolute fantastic movie. So let's talk about this animation. So this is really interesting because it's an animated Transformers movie, which we haven't gotten since like theatrically we haven't gotten an animated Transformers movie since the '80s. And this animation's beautiful. I wasn't so sure about it at first. I thought it looked a bit like, it was new, it was interesting, it was different than the norm, but I love it. Let's talk about these designs. They're Gen 1 inspired, but they have a unique take on them. Megatron looks like Megatron, Optimus looks like Optimus, but it's not carbon copies of the Gen 1 designs. They're unique. They're Cybertronian designs, so they don't have like the truck parts or the car parts. And I really like that we got to see that. But and I'm gonna bring up the Bayverse films a lot because it really I have a lot to say. It's really such a massive contrast to how these designs are compared to the Bayverse designs that were just giant scraps of metal. Like I cannot recall a single Decepticon that had any fucking color in those movies. They were all gunmetal gray or black. All right, the Autobots had some color, but it was so frustrating. Here, you know, they look great. And again, the animation is great. I love the details on everything, the texturing, how like it's cartoonish, but it's like realistic. It looked like Cyberpunk 2077. Which I got back into the night before I saw this movie, and that's what I was thinking of. It's like, wow, this is how Cyberpunk looks, which is not an insult. That game looks fucking beautiful, even for a 2060. There's few issues here and there, but this movie looks great. And the lighting and the colors are definitely the best part of this movie. You can see the scratches and the rusting on the transformers and all that. And they get to the surface of Cybertron and the colors there pop so much. There's a scene where they meet the Decepticons who aren't the Decepticons yet. And again, oh my god, I cannot stress how much the lighting and the coloring, the colored lights, it really does make a huge, massive difference, honestly. And the voice acting is great. I was hesitant about Chris Hemsworth as Orion, who I'm gonna call as Orion and maybe Optimus, here and there, because that's who he is in this movie. But he does a great job, honestly. His voice is a lot like a younger Peter Cullen, which I do want to kind of talk about something related to that. Um, he's a younger version of the Optimus that we know. He's not the confident leader that's like, all right, let's defeat the Decepticons and all that. No, he's young and hip, and he makes a lot of jokes. And Brian did a great job as D16. And this movie's relationship is about Optimus and Megatron. It is and the so they're best friends. They're brothers, working in a mine shaft who always have their backs. And then slowly throughout the movie, they start disagreeing more, and they start slowly separating before at the end they're mortal enemies now. And this is the best movie to have. This is the best written Megatron, honestly. Because again, let me compare it back to the Bayverse films. Megatron was sort of just a fucking minion in those movies. And the first movie was really the only movie he got time to shine. He was a minion to the Fallen. He was a minion to Sentinel. He wasn't even Galvatron was barely even in that. Like that's actually so weird. That movie's like big conflict revolves around Galvatron. Like that's his thing. Like I think what was it? It was a nuke that Galvatron had, yet he wasn't the main villain. You don't use Galvatron as a minion. I get Lockdown was the main villain of that movie, but whatever. And then yeah, Megatron was fucking Quintessa's bullshit, and then he never even showed up in the next two movies. But yeah, this movie does Megatron some great justice. It's the best written Megatron in the like cinematically. I'm not counting the '86 movie because that's Galvatron. I consider them two different characters. Whatever, fight me. But yeah, B and Alita were also great characters. I really liked how again Alita was. I'm trying to think here. Alita's relationship with Optimus was great. She's annoyed by him, but she starts to see that he is more than meets the eye. And I was really worried about Bumblebee in this movie. I was really worried that his humor was going to annoy me, but no, Keegan Michael Key is fucking hilarious as him. And this movie's humor may not be for me, but I still found it kind of funny, honestly. It's great to hear, and it's a great contrast to hear a Bumblebee that continuously talks and yaps and doesn't shut up, compared to the other Bumblebees that is just radio noises and songs and all that. Our main villain was cartoonishly evil. I'm not. I'll talk about the spoilers later, but it's a great version of that character, and the action was great. Comparing it with the beautiful animation, I love actually being able to see these Transformers fight each other. Like, was that Starscream or Megatron? Again, the Bayverse action fucking sucked because it was just a bunch of particles and explosions flying everywhere in slow motion. They're both like again. Was that Megatron punching Optimus or was that Starscream punching Optimus? I don't know. The camera fucking sucks. And guess what? They're both gunmetal gray. And speaking of Starscream, this little guy right here, um, the Decepticons who again aren't the Decepticons in this movie are. I actually really liked them. They had a really interesting backstory. Stand up. Come on. You want to be on your throne? Um, the Decepticons aren't the Decepticons yet. And I wish we got more of Starscream. He's voiced by Steve Buscemi, which is a great voice for Starscream. I imagine that's more for a possible sequel. I'll talk about that. Now, this first half of the movie is just sort of silly animated kids fun. You put your kid down to watch this, and you might get some hour enjoyment. But then, near the end, at the last 30 minutes, this movie locks in. This movie gets so fucking serious, and I was really emotional with it. The stakes were really high, and again, the relationship between Optimus and Megatron is perfect. This is the best animated movie of 2024 so far. I don't know about Wild Robot yet. I actually do want to kind of see that, but I do want to talk about something really sad with this movie. It is doing super poor at the box office right now, and I can imagine that's for two reasons. One, For Transformers movies, all we really had was the Bumblebee, not Bumblebee, the Bayverse movies, and those movies kind of tainted. I would say tainted the public perspective of Transformers. Because, like, the first movie, yeah, that was respected. And then the second movie came out and fucking tarnished everything. The third movie could have saved it, but by the time Age of Extinction and Last Night came out, we were fucking done. And, when Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast came out, people still thought that these movies were just going to be Shia LaBeouf and John Turturro getting pissed on. Or, and, talking about the age of consent. What the fuck was that about? I don't know if Rise of the Beast flopped. I think maybe. But yeah, after last night, they were just done. But the second reason is the marketing for this movie. The trailer wasn't the best, and again, it made me think. It made people think that this movie was going to be a silly comedy film that doesn't take itself seriously. And while it is that for a majority of it, it is more than that. It is. It's a great film, and I hope it does manage to pick up soon. By the time I'm recording this, I think it only got like $5 million at the box office. But yeah, I'm hoping that by the time that the I'm hoping it picks up because I want more of this universe. I want to see them fight the Quintessence. I want to see them fight. I want to see more of Optimus and Megatron with this new relationship that they have, being mortal enemies. Yeah. And while we're at it, this isn't in the script, but I want to talk about something relating to Peter Cullen. So I've been talking to myself about this conversation since it happened, but you know how James Earl Jones sadly passed away recently. When that happened, I was grieving and I was really sad about it, but I really started thinking to myself, is it time to retire Darth Vader? If you want my thoughts on that, yes, they should retire Darth Vader because not only do I think James Earl Jones is the definitive voice for it, but I also just think that that character has had enough stories told within the canon that it's from, his birth to his death. I think you've told enough of Darth Vader. Now, Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen is getting old. He's like 80. And while he may, while he still has like time left, we are going to have to consider who is going to play him after he passes. Some people could say Chris Hemsworth because he can do a great Optimus voice. I do believe that. I just don't know if Chris Hemsworth would like commit to doing Optimus like that for like any future movies or shows and all that. If you ask me, I think Peter Cullen is probably the only Optimus voice I like. It's so iconic and it leaves really big shoes to fill. Darth Vader, on the other hand, I mean you still have Jedi 3. That's obviously going to have Darth Vader in it. They were kind of building that up. But Optimus isn't really a character like Darth Vader because Darth Vader exists purely within like one singular canon. Like you might do a Lego special, yeah, that's fine. But Optimus is a character who continuously shows up. And while I know they've had different voice actors for Optimus, I think we need to look for the who to pass the torch to for the new Optimus. Like how Charles Martinet passed the torch down from being Mario down to someone new. I don't know who plays the new Mario, but I think it's time that we start looking for a new Optimus. So Peter Cullen could either retire as the character, or when he eventually passes, we can still. I don't know. It's something I don't want to think about because Peter Cullen is great. It's gonna be a really sad day when he goes, but I think I'm not too sure. I think he is done with the character, like pretty soon. All right. Anyways, Transformers 1 made me realize that, yeah, a Transformers movie is possible. In fact, a great Transformers movie is possible. It succeeds in every department. From the main conflict of Megatron and Optimus, a stellar voice cast, a story that is really gripping and engaging and heartbreaking, and great animation. This is the Megatron I want to see, not a coward who just retreats in every film. Transformers, without a doubt, is a movie that doesn't have much flaws. I can't really think of anything I didn't like with the movie. And if I did, I'd just be nitpicking at that point. Transformers 1 is going to get an A from me. Now let's talk about some spoilers. Do I have this set up? I restarted my computer, so like, okay, no I don't. Let's talk some spoilers. So rounding back over to the villain, it's Sentinel Prime. I think they did a great job with him. He's cartoonishly evil, and I really like the direction that they took with him in here. Okay, so what happens is that it turns out that he's not even a prime. He actually betrayed the other primes and um, is working with the Quintessence using the energon that the miners mine. Just so I actually don't remember what it was, but yeah, he's pretty much a betrayal. I think his betrayal here is handled a lot better than it is in what was it? Dark of the Moon. Although when Megatron was chasing him down near the end, all I could think about was no Optimus when he fucking when Optimus killed him in cold blood. I really need to find that document again and read my script there. Now, my favorite scene in this movie is near the end. I've been wanting to talk about this. Megatron and Optimus are fighting over Sentinel, where Optimus doesn't want Sentinel to get killed. Megatron accidentally shoots Optimus. Now, he holds him and he's like, "What have you done, man? Why?" He's distraught over what he did. But then he closes his eyes. They turn red. I'm done saving you. Throughout the movie, his eye color changes. I think it starts off as blue, and then it goes to yellow, and then it becomes red. You know, the Decepticon color. And I got so much goosebumps. Um, yeah. Orion falls down into the core of Primus, who is Cybertron in this movie. So I'm curious to see if Unicron's gonna show up later. And he gets the Matrix of Leadership, which is also another thing. The movie, they go out to the surface to find the Matrix of Leadership so Energon can flow again throughout Cybertron. That was another thing. D16 has oh wait, no, I'm skipping ahead. So D16 announces himself as Megatron, and then Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime, and the two fight. Optimus looks great. I love him, how he looks in this movie. It's just so good. And I love how Megatron becomes Megatron. He gets the Decepticon logo is the mask of Megatronus Prime, who you may know as the Fallen. Who was betrayed by the others by Sentinel with the other primes, and D16 had it etched into his chest by Sentinel. It was actually a sticker earlier in the movie that Orion gave to him because he's such a Megatronus fan. So not only does he get the name Megatron, but that's also the origin of the Decepticon logo. I'm glad. And that's all I really need to say about this movie. It's fucking fantastic. Um, I hope we get more of these movies. I want Transformers 2. Now, sorry for the lack of uploads this last month. And really just all that. I've just been busy with stuff and working and all that and motivation, blah blah blah. A whole bunch of shit you don't need to know. I'm hoping the next review should be Joker Fully Deuce. Um, I know I mispronounced that, but until then, Autobots roll out.